at least to start with. That's just do a little more on it. Stuff I pulled out of these already. Or that was
It's the same one.
Yeah, it's basically the same.
Well, here's a different one. Well, who didn't get one? She didn't get one. Okay.
And I've updated my log on this. I've been just keeping a log on all the calls. So I'll pass that along to you guys.
We got them going
Here's
all
one.
directions
I've got more here.
I don't know if I got one.
Did everybody get one? So basically, this is, I got one of the paper out. See if I need really. We've been meeting with the fellow pretty much steady since you guys we had the special meeting. Jim and I met with him. First thing, I met with him in the morning. Jim was out to Canadian Lakes. And him and his wife came in, we visited, talked a lot. They really, wanted that lot 8 or 13, whatever it is up there. I told them basically that 80,000 is as low as we're going to come on that. And I told them 5 would be just as good. I told him 40,000 on the 5. We talked about it a lot. He said, well, what would be the minimum you take? And we finally talked about going down to 35,000 on it. His biggest concern was that we didn't have internet. And I called a couple places. He called. We spent an hour in here just on the phone back and forth, trying to find out who would service it. And Tucker will do something for him for internet.
No, is that like through a phone? I'm not internet savvy. Would that be like a new phone line?
No,
or?
I don't think so. Tucker's got, they put up towers,
Okay.
and they're handled green. They're covering all of Green Township somehow.
Okay.
Jim maybe can tell more about what they're doing up there. Do you
I
know?
think it's almost like a cell phone connection kind of
Okay.
situation.
With the cell tower set up similar.
But being the business they're in, they've got to have fast downloads
Yeah.
because they pick up all their loads that way. And so
Everything's
that was-
dispatched by computer with the trucking.
So anyway, we started out there that afternoon. Jim and I went up and met him and his builder at the park. He brought a builder out there. They looked at the different sites. And I came around and asked him, I said, is it worth that much more to you to have that prime site? He said, no. So he's very interested in site 5.
But it was 13 before that?
13 is the one he originally wanted. Site 13?
Up along the freeway,
Yeah, the prime site.
next to the Pioneer.
Oh, okay. I already wrote that on there, okay.
Yeah. But now I've talked him into taking this one here. The only one problem with that lot is for him, it'd be nice to come straight off of the road there.
That is the truck road, right?
Yep.
230th.
230 to the truck up there. And somebody put a fire hydrant right in the center, well not quite center, but right in the road. So they'll have to put driveways around it. I didn't talk to him again, let's see. On the 28th, I went out to Isabel Bank, I talked to them because our mortgage is with them on the property. They carry a mortgage on that, besides our bonds. And I found out where we're at on that. We owe about $125,000 yet. They started out at $200,000, it was a 20-year mortgage. We're paying 6.5% interest on that money.
125,000?
It's
On a
down to
20-year?
On a 20-year. So we are making payments on it, but it's
And that's Isabella, you said?
Isabel Bank, yeah. You had that, did you have that information or not?
I only have the last
Yeah.
one, and that was the lift station loan.
Besides that, we've got bonds that are, I think, about 800,000 yet we owe on that property out there. So we do owe quite a bit of property on that out there.
Yeah, we owe 125 on just the land.
Yeah,
correct? Okay.
well, yeah, the others, the bonds on the sewer system.
Right, yeah.
So I talked to them, they says, if we can sell it, they would like to see it sell as much as you can, he says. And I met with Eileen, who's kind of the manager here now, and their president, both that day. And both of them were very supportive, so there's no concern there. Okay, and then the next time I talked to him was on the 2nd. It was a little after 5 o'clock in the evening, I got a call from him. He wanted to know, he's meeting the bank the next morning, he says, he wanted to know if we take $40,000 and include the tap-in fees. And a light. He wants a street light, and he wants the tap-in fees for electrical, or not electrical, the water and the sewer. I had no idea what the tap-in fees was about.
Well, then 10 minutes later, you called back and said, what about a straight 30,000?
Yeah. So he knows the tap-in fees are expensive.
No, I mean, that's lower than
But then he'd pay tapping fees, is what he's saying. He'd either offer
Yeah.
30 cash
Yeah.
and pay tapping fees, or,
If we want to do the
He
tapping.
gives us 40, we pay the tap.
We pay
Yeah,
the
that's
tapping
what he's
fees,
getting at.
So
which the tapping fees come to us.
Okay. How much are the tap-in fees?
Well, I started doing some figuring on that, and may help me a lot on it. I think for water and electric, it'd be 81.25 is what we charge it.
that's retail, that's no deal, that's
There's
just,
no deal.
that's just a,
Yep. So, I've been looking at other properties, Jim gave me some stuff on other properties, and there's prices out there all over the board. The only thing is, the property's still there.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't really do a lot of good to look at other property prices.
Well, you don't get apples to apples,
No.
you know. A friend of mine just bought 10 acres for $500 an acre. That doesn't mean, you know, that was there, that's just here.
how big a building are they looking at?
They're looking at a 50 by 100 plus an office, kind of a pole barn area, or not pole barn, but, you know, pole structure probably, and a 2,000 square foot office, 2,000 to 2,500.
How many employees are they
He will have
guaranteeing
eight to
us,
start with.
guaranteeing us to provide?
8 office plus a mechanic or 2, he said. So we're starting with 8 or 9 people. It'd probably be 15 max.
But we have to assume
Yeah.
8.
8 is all I'm, yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Either we justify it on 8 or we don't.
That's what he has now?
Huh?
That's what he has
That's what he
now?
has right now is 8. And we'd be taking them out of the city.
Is this outside the certified industrial park?
As far as I can see, no.
Okay.
You know what, I've got, everything we've been advertising as a certified industrial park shows it in there.
Jim,
I talked to, yeah,
or, I'm sorry,
yeah, also I talked to our assessors, and the HVAC building, we've been assessing with the Renaissance zone. So it's in the Renaissance area.
Yeah, and Dan also mentioned there's one more year of that, till it's 2014, ends,
In 2013, it starts,
Or-
2013
yeah, it starts
is
to
last,
descend,
and then descends for 3 years.
yeah.
75, 50, and 25.
right.
Um,
So it does go on for 4 more years, some incentive.
Some degree.
Well, this
No,
year,
that's a tax
yeah, this year's the last year,
for these people.
yeah, the tax break. I went through and did some figuring, because I really trying to figure out what this property is really worth. Because, you know, some of this, I've got an industrial building I'm trying to sell, I can't get rid of.
Well,
I know this isn't much, but
back up a second.
this is what I've kind of put together.
As far as the tax incentive, is it 75% of the taxable value or the taxes levied?
It'd be tax levied.
So 70, if he's only paying 25.
No, it wouldn't be 75 with the total tax levied either. It's,
Either way,
Yeah.
it's still only, he's only paying 25% of what he should be paying on the second year there.
yeah.
So
This would be the
that's-
first year, and whether he has to pay any tax on this year, because depending where you got a building up.
But he still has to pay
He's got to pay the
the
7%.
assessment, the
Yeah,
assessment,
Assessment,
Right.
which is
So
huge
that-
for us.
yeah. So,
How much is
yeah,
that?
7%, I think is basically,
I don't know,
there's a debt retirement of
It's about
7%.
7%.
but I mean,
He has to pay that.
he's gotta pay that.
So he doesn't lose, he doesn't get free
On
taxes.
just the land or on the
On the
total?
building,
Everything.
On everything. So depending upon how big of a building,
Yeah.
what the value is,
If,
it goes up.
and what I did is I just put it for instance here. If in '04, if Dave would have wanted to buy that property, and, you know, Rich is on the board here, if he would have sold it to him for 18,000 an acre, we had listed as 20, you know, which is the top figure. But if we would have sold 18,000 an acre, for 7 acres, it would be $126,000. If they put a building up for 500,000, your SAD is 250 on that. The tax saving is only the 37.75 mils. So each year they'd save 94.3750. So the past 9 years, when we had this going, that dropped that value of that land from 126,000 to 41,000. Land is not worth what it, today what it is. It was 7, 8 years ago.
This is a guesstimate. I mean, that's just a
Yeah,
guesstimate.
I'm just taking it off the figures we had on the
Right.
brochures and stuff.
Right.
Where the 20,000 acre was. I come down to the, you know, if we took 15% off, it'd be 34.9 right now.
Do we know what Benedict's is offering their land for in industrial, in the city industrial?
I know it's offered for.
Yeah, okay, what's it offered for?
You know off the top of your head, Jim? got a copy of it here.
It was around 20,000 an acre, wasn't it?
It's high.
I think Dan told me yesterday it's 10 now.
It hasn't sold.
That's what I paid for my property,
10.
was 10
Per acre.
He-
per acre.
Yeah, he said the city,
Or per lot, excuse me, it was an
That would
acre and
be-
a quarter lot, so it was, so,
Thousand
but,
something.
yeah.
They're asking 142,000.
Wait, now how many
Was
acres?
that a 5 or 7
7,
acre?
7.
7? It's about 20,000 an acre, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't expect it to be cheap if Tom had it.
And
But we're considerably,
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Way away
Absolutely.
from that.
Yeah.
But Tom's got it too.
and he doesn't need to sell it.
Right, and you don't, if you can get it.
Well, we're in the exact same boat.
Yeah.
We don't have to sell those.
We do not have to sell this.
Nope.
If we don't wanna sell it, we don't have to.
Nope.
And the fellow's not, it's to our advantage to sell it rather than him buy it. He can go down and buy Dave Lewis's right now, move in tomorrow.
These are a
It's
list
got-
of the industrial parks in Michigan that surround us. It's Greenville, Everett, Fremont, White Cloud, Deer Marquette, Coleman, Alma, South Ithaca, Fort Custer, Three Rivers. All of them are 6,000 up to 25,000, with the exception of Everett, who's 5,000, but offers no water and sewer.
In White Cloud, which is negotiable.
And, well, yeah, I didn't
I
have
just
that.
did the immediate driving area here.
Everett's got one, hasn't it?
Yeah, Everett's got
I don't think on the parcel that's left.
Industrial park is, they put in water.
It's not advertised in there as water.
I don't think it's advertised that,
No.
but I'm sure it is.
Everett has 47 acres, they're 17% occupied.
It doesn't say water and sewer, but there is, because
Right.
that's all I'm putting it in.
They're 13 miles from 131 and 127, which is not an advantage to them compared to us.
That is an
Greenville-
advantage.
And they're getting 5,000 an acre.
They're asking 5,000 acre.
Well, they're asking, but they've sold obviously 17% of the property they have,
Well, we have too.
so,
You know, basically, we've sold, this was recent.
right.
Greenville's last
It's
sale
all
was in
pleasant.
2008.
Oh.
We suggested they're kind of giving it away over there. And they sold almost 18 acres for 214,000, that was 12,000 an acre. And the year before that, they sold 96 acres in the old part for 6,000 an acre. They will not go any lower than 6,000, according to their assessor.
in their building.
Who's
They put up on
Laurel?
there.
We've got 2 of them that are sitting there empty right
Yeah,
now.
they're sitting there empty.
Because the solar panels went out.
They're sitting there empty. So, I mean, it's up to us. If we wanna sell, we do. I mean, if we don't wanna sell, I
It's
just
not that
don't.
we don't want to sell, we want to get a fair
I
price.
think it should be
I don't think
equitable for
$30,000
everybody.
is a fair price. I don't think $40,000 is a fair price. Honestly,
What do you think the fair price is?
7,500 an acre, 7,000.
Well, and now
an acre.
you're talking 7 acres, and when we met the other day, we
Six
were
is the
only
lowest.
He only wanted
talking,
5 or 6, but being, I pushed him over this lot, 5. Our paperwork shows it's 7 acres and it's got wetlands on it.
right, I subtracted out the 7 acres, and that comes to 5.73 buildable, non-wetland acres.
And that's what he would like that, you know, that's the site I showed him. He's willing to take that site is what he'd like.
I just see we're discounting it way,
I think that
way,
$30,000
way.
is a slap in the face. I'm probably the one who would like a customer on there more than anybody in this room. That's, I mean, that's,
Well, here was
I do
Fremont
utilities.
also, Dave.
I think it's highly
comparable.
important that we have another customer in there. And I think it would be attractive to another
I was
potential
trying
buyer
to
to
find
have a customer.
comparable.
But I think $30,000 is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, you can't blame him for asking.
No, I don't blame
Here.
them.
Grand
And
Flash.
and there's nothing wrong with us saying no.
No.
I mean,
Right.
We
and I
don't-
agree, you
well-
know.
Even 40,000 with him paying all the fees is still borderline ridiculous. You know what, when you brought this to us, none of us knew anything.
No,
So
we
it
didn't.
took,
I didn't
it
either.
took time
Yeah.
to research to see what else is
Yeah.
happening out there. I mean, just regular old
But,
farmland.
but what's happening is what I need to find out. And how do you find that out? Because nothing's been moving. I mean, you're looking at prices that people got on stuff, and they'll negotiate down. You look at our price compared to theirs, and we're so much higher than anybody else. Did we think we'll get it? No. They're the
Here's-
same way. They don't think they'll get it.
But do we take 75% of what we originally had it?
They've lost 75% of their taxes on it.
This piece of property is located just on the west side of US 131 Expressway, just south of the interchange, Perry Street. It's
The 15.
22 acres, 45 an acre. No water, no sewer. Okay,
45,
45 an acre. No water, no sewer.
4,500.
Here's another piece. This is west of Big Rapids on Woodward, 16 mile to 230th. It is 78 acres, no water, no sewer, 2,200 an acre. Now that's just plain farmland.
And here's another one, we're talking about Everett being so cheap. I pulled this one up. Here is 5.7 acres that Everett has in their industrial park. It says it's directly south of Ventra. It's also near the Pittsburgh Glass Works. And they are currently asking $300,000 for 5.07 acres.
Here's another
So
one.
Everett has
You
quite
can
an
ask if you
extreme
want,
from
you know,
5,000 an acre
Let's talk about
to,
what's selling though. I mean, that's what,
And that's not the point. The point is, what do we want to sell it for? Not
but you guys are comparing
selling.
apples and oranges, because you're comparing what people are asking. You're not
well,
comparing what
that's
people are
all
selling.
we've got to go off of.
You know. And I really don't, I'm not here to negotiate with the buyer. I'm here to get the best deal for our people.
But why do they have this piece right over here on Gilbert Drive by our lift station, the customer lift station, priced at $229,000? It's not even 2 acres.
You can price stuff at anything you want. Is it sold? You gotta look at things that have sold, is what we gotta be looking at. You know,
Maybe we should do that then. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
'cause
what we should
you
do.
can
I-
ask- you can
yeah,
ask,
I-
you know,
yeah,
I really-
asking, you know,
I really
I can charge
think-
you $100 for that pen, you know,
Right,
if you wanna pay
exactly.
it.
Fine, but
Yeah, you
I
know.
really think that at this point, we need to look all over to see what has sold and what it has sold for. We don't have enough information yet. This has all come about so quick.
it has caught us with our pants down.
it's.
Well, it hasn't
I
caught us
didn't
with our pants on,
expect
we
anything
just
like
weren't
this.
expecting it.
No.
And
And we can turn him down. I mean, he can go, he's got a place he can go.
How much is Lewis asking for his place?
327.
327. And they will negotiate.
Oh, yeah.
well, of course they will.
No, they're 389. They've already come down to 327.
Yeah. Look what they did on the
How many
house.
acres is there?
3.1.
Yeah.
It's enough for him.
But it's not apples to apples.
No,
I mean,
because
it's not,
that
you
is
know,
certainly
He's got
not
his
even
own septic there, he's got
close
his
to
own
what
well,
we've
he's
got.
got
No,
sewer,
it's
you
not.
know.
I mean,
There's difference.
it's the
yeah.
minimum requirements
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, the
you know.
building, if it's
He
just
wants to build a building
tiny
that's
for what
going
he wants to do.
to be tailored to his needs.
And I think he'd prefer to be out there in the industrial park, but I don't think he's gonna pay it.
Well, as far as you have said, maybe to 35?
No, I told him we'd sell it for 35, is what I told him.
Well, 35 is just too low.
But now,
For 7 acres.
when we started, the other lot
It was-
that you looked at was how many acres?
We were talking, I was talking 5 acres with him, because
So
nothing's.
35, so I mean, so
Yeah.
really you were at 7,000 an acre.
Right.
So,
Nothing's surveyed, you know, I just,
so that we could,
yeah.
you wouldn't lose too
Well, I
much
believe-
space if we said, hey, 7,000 an acre, if you want 7 acres, then it's
Or-
$49,000.
Or we'll sell you the 5 out there that's
You know,
buildable.
Yeah.
That,
We'll sell you the 5 that's
you got
buildable.
confused or whatever from the board's direction, I mean, if we can,
Now, we, you know, I told him 5,000 tons, so there's nothing there. I can go back to him and say, you know, you're getting 5 acres if you want the 35,000.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm
He's
saying.
responsible for all the tap
Yeah, and he's responsible for all tap-ins.
Can I
The only thing
interject?
we have to do is, yes, Rich.
You say it hasn't been surveyed, but obviously somebody at some point, whether it was the engineering, somebody laid this out and plotted it out. So it had to be somehow surveyed.
This is secondhand, okay?
Okay.
Because it's a previous meeting when I was overhearing about where the city put one of their buildings. They put it wrong, we didn't survey. Somebody just drew lines on the map. That's my understanding, so I,
Just took some.
And I've got-
But there had to be some measurements taken
Well,
at some point for
I'm sure,
someone, to
that's
someone
all
to.
surveyed, I'm sure, but
Right,
there's nothing marked.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
it's one of the more
it-
surveyed places in the
I was
county.
gonna say, it has
It
to
is gonna
have
be-
been,
It's gonna be surveyed to the certain areas, so we just need to survey all the lots. But I've got the lots showing, different lots for different,
Yeah.
same
well,
lots.
we've got that right here.
Yeah.
Well, let's say the city built on us and didn't realize it, because when they surveyed it, all of a sudden the corner of their building,
But now, with that said.
or we were on their building,
When,
I'm not
well,
sure
the same
what.
thing, when the Pioneer built, obviously, someone came in and surveyed, so they knew that their building was on the property that they bought. The HVAC building, somebody surveyed so that he was building with setbacks and everything else that the requirements were, that he would put his building on the property that he bought.
As we sell, we have to survey.
Right, so those
So
were
there's-
surveyed.
And we need to give good title, so we are responsible for,
The survey.
I think so.
There is a page missing to this. The next page on our website
Okay, I've got a lot of pages
lists
there.
these as 10,000 an acre. So if we'd sell it to them for 8,000 an acre, we're giving them a 20% discount. We sell it for 75, we're giving them a 25% discount. I mean, is land going down that much?
What are you buying here? You're buying a tax-free incentive.
Yeah,
That's
that-
what you're buying. That's what you're paying the big money for. You're not paying for the land. You're paying for that tax-free. And depending on what you put up,
That is part of it.
that's the big part of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I've
Well,
got.
and you're also paying for all the utilities that are,
That's
What
part
do
of
you
They're
the.
think
available.
the state would do if you went to them and asked for an extension?
We're working on that right now, so we're trying to get.
Is it a
to see-
possibility?
I don't think so. They're scrambling right now to try to figure out how to get you personal property tax, money that's gonna be going away, replaced somehow. So I think that things like this, abatements, those sorts of issues are,
Or on the back burner?
well, they're gonna be looking under every rock to find potential monies to replace personal property tax laws. So, the Renaissance Zone is one of those that's still there, still exists, but I don't know if there's, talking about extension, but we can try it, we can give it a run.
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah. Well, it was a good idea at the time,
Yeah.
but once again, it was a good idea when property values were 10 to 15,000
Okay,
an
let's
acre.
say-
But you asked the question about property values? But, you know, since 2008, they've gone in the tank. I mean, we can do a big picture of the whole county, but all you have to do, I think, is go to the county's appraiser, or what is?
Equalization.
Equalization, and just look at the dramatic decline in the value of property that she's taken a look at through the whole county.
so if we took that number and applied it to what we were asking originally, where would we come out?
That's where I come up with this figure here, taking off the, just what it would be for, no, equalization, I just put it down to 15%.
Yeah.
But I took off the
At least.
value of the, yeah, it's at least that. I took
All
off
right,
the
well, like
value
Penny
of the-
just said, if we drop that down to 20, we were given a 20% discount.
Well, it's
But
not
you gotta take off
discount,
the,
it's-
Well, 20%,
Renaissance.
20% devaluation on it.
but what do you take it off of? After you take your tax-free? You know, they can't get that money anymore, I mean, it's lost. When you put these prices together, whoever put them together, I think it was fair, you know,
Sure, they had 17 years of
You
free
got-
skidding, so,
yeah, you
I
got all
mean,
this free
it's- it was big. Pioneer did very well. I mean,
Well, they did
you know.
very, very well, but we needed the Pioneer at
I'm
that
not
time.
arguing,
so-
I'm not, let's not spill
Yeah,
grapes,
that
but
was-
reality's reality, they did very well.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean,
no, I mean, what's happened in the past happened, I'm
Right.
happy with what's
Well,
happened.
Pioneer was good for everybody.
it was, we got the industrial, I mean,
I mean, they're the only ones that we using our water right now, basically, so,
whatever number we arrive at,
yeah.
I think needs to be net, not, and then whatever the sewer tap
yeah,
in
those
is,
cannot be,
those are
Good
it.
deal.
Whatever, you know, we don't gouge them, whatever it is, it is.
Well, we don't have to make money off of that.
No, but we can cover expenses and,
Right.
and I think our biggest question is what the net
Well,
is.
it's
And
like
it
you
sounds
said-
like it's somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 is where we're at.
And
It
do we
sounds
wanna
like.
keep the wetlands and sell him off 5 acres if that's what he wants?
No,
You know, the way we've got.
Tail
it
goes
plugged
with the
there,
hide.
yeah. So that's why I just
otherwise
said,
we're gonna have a bunch of wetlands.
Well, with that, if he wanted to get away from that, he could move down here, and there are no wetlands
Yeah,
down here to deal with. So, I mean, we've got two 5-acre parcels right here that if he wanted 7 acres, this could
Which way
get
you going,
surveyed.
Rick? To the east?
To the east.
Okay, yeah.
is that?
You move down towards the HVAC
is that
building.
Class A?
Well, that may be my problem.
This is all Class A.
Okay,
It
That may
is?
be my
I asked
problem, 'cause
Dave Molnar
Okay.
yesterday if all of 18 was
Okay.
Class A, and he
When did they
said,
update that?
well,
last
that's
year,
what I
when
say.
we in Green
We-
Township spent the money to do the road.
You can say, hey, the board is not comfortable with giving, because that's
said
really
it's-
another prime site too. Is it- you know,
Well, it's either Class A or it's not.
This-
Well, it is, but
well,
When you go out there and look at it. I would
If-
really
if-
but I mean, there's
Probably
another,
gonna
there's
knock
other
a lot.
ways
There you
to
go.
spin it so that,
because I wanted to know that same thing, John. Not giving away
But,
anything, because I couldn't tell him what was going on. I just said, is all
we need to put a
18
number
Mile
on
Road
what the
Class A?
taxable
If he said
value,
yes,
the
that
loss
was
of the
spec.
tax,
So-
tax-free,
But at the same time, he was-
Is, and in reality, what
There's
the
4 inches of
the
asphalt.
decline
The
in
underlayment was.
land prices have been since
Class A.
2000.
Okay, so
That's
they
what I
did
tried
build
to
it
do
Six,
with the Cedar
back
but
then.
it's-
I mean, that's really where we're at.
That's what I think we.
And then the rest of it
He
is,
said,
how bad do we want to sell?
Extreme
We want to
heavy
go any
traffic,
lower?
the road's
Probably
gonna
not.
last as long.
See,
And
No.
I come
this
up
guy's gonna
43,000 here, I thought was.
But he's gonna
fair
be a lot of
with
empty,
everything. And I
which
would
is
say if we
fair.
go in with 42 and tell him that's our bottom, I'd be happy with that.
But that's,
I don't think we'll get it. but-
that's everything?
Yeah. Put the tap-in fee in it, give it to him, we're gonna make money off that.
That's $8,000.
Yeah. So if we went at 42, tell them that
For
was our
just
bottom.
the land.
No, for everything. The land is not worth it. You guys are trying to get too much out of it. I really think so.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah, it is. And if we can't get it, you know, I don't know. I don't think we have to sell the property out there either.
Well, we got 120 acres.
Well,
If we were 70%, the other thing is if we were,
Oh, yeah.
if we were
Well, here's-
50% full or 70% full, sure.
But at the same time that you say that, we have 120 acres, but it also includes this area that we don't have a road in there
Yep,
yet.
I understand
That we are
that.
gonna have to put a road
That's-
into.
I agree.
So
I 100%.
realistically, we only have this and this.
No, that's true. That was sellable today.
The
You're-
number,
you're
the
right.
120 acres
You're
is,
absolutely right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's-
Yep.
And if you sell 120 acres at 5,000, you're 600,000 and you owe.
We aren't gonna be able to build that road.
975.
No, I agree. I agree. You're really right. It's not 120 acres we got. We got what is
We've got
is
this.
sellable right now, which
right, and
is,
this isn't
lots.
sellable right now. That lot would be, these would not be, because there is no
So you're
road to
saying
that.
16,
so we got
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
whatever it is.
5,
Waterworks.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Mm-hmm.
11. 11 lots that are sellable today.
Correct, without us investing even
Even
more
Even more
money.
money.
Yeah.
And if we don't get the money out of what we have available to sell, we aren't gonna ever
I
have the
agree.
money.
And that's my concern is that I don't want to
Is
have
it
to take
HVAC?
pothole money away from the
Right.
county.
It's kind of split differently.
okay.
We've got one, I think one's
man.
split into two. This really
It is
is
a-
terrible.
It's a conundrum.
It is.
It is.
It's basically.
We wanna sell it.
Yeah, I know.
But we don't wanna give it away. It needs to be fair and equitable to both parties. He needs to be getting a fair price for what he wants, for the services that he's getting. We need to get a fair price for what we are selling, because we only get to sell it one time.
Is, I got another idea then. How about Dan? He's got access to around the state. Can we get him to give us a fast appraisal?
See, you give me a second.
He gave me a 5-minute appraisal over the phone.
Okay. I mean, I'd like,
7 would be low in his opinion.
okay, I mean, that's fine. I
Yeah.
got, there's no wrong answers. I mean, I
Yeah.
just want to know what,
Yeah.
No, if you feel something's low for that wetlands, with the wetlands in there.
that would help, because it sounds like everybody's,
Well,
we don't know what, even if we said 8
Until
or
we-
10, we still
we
don't
still
know if
don't
that's
know.
really where
We are
we
not
want
in
to
the
be.
real estate business, and we are not
Yeah, I
dealing
mean,
with this.
so I would say, we all have confidence in Dan's ability to put a number on it. And,
if you can get him this afternoon, we need to, we need to come up with something.
Yeah, your take on the
We're
guy,
gonna-
what's this guy gonna do if we put him out today?
He'll wait till they're out, he's sick.
Well, yeah, what's the rush?
These
Well, and that's-
comparables came from Dan.
We've only known about this for a week.
Yeah,
It's
our
not like
biggest
there's gonna be
trouble is-
bulldozers
He's
there
ready to do
tomorrow.
something.
we didn't have a procedure. If
He's
we,
ready to do
if
something.
it took, if the normal procedure is a month, we need a month to do this,
And he's not interested in waiting a month.
well, but
Just-
if we told him ahead of time, that's what it's gonna take, a month to
Yeah.
get the land, that's what it takes,
He would've went
well,
somewhere else probably.
Well, then-
okay, I mean, that's
And that's
okay.
what- it's okay if we do. I don't have a problem. telling him
I'm
no.
just saying, in this, we're almost our own worst enemy because
But we
we
need
are trying to please,
too many masters.
yeah.
And we need more information.
Jim knows more, speak up anytime about it.
Well, a question on any kind of deed restrictions or covenants or anything on what's being put in the
Yes.
park and is this qualifying?
I've given him copies of that.
Okay, okay,
And
and it would qualify.
it's all-
Yeah, it'll fit in there. I mean,
so the certified industrial park is a non-issue?
that I don't know about.
I think could be the issue. I mean, that's a decision you gotta make too, has that certified park thing gotten you any advantage?
I honestly don't know. I know honestly, it's a big thing to Maxine. And something tells me that before I'd better make sure. It's,
Well,
There
that's
are
one
lots
thing
of
you
some
know.
have not been.
well, I'm just saying, I know it's a big thing to Maxine, and I don't know why, because I
Well,
never she
she's-
never explained.
She's very knowledgeable. in
I know,
House of
that's why I'm
Wise.
I don't just poo-poo it, because,
You've seen a ton of parks like over Mount Pleasant, just right, short drive, the tech park. Now they're putting hotels and
Oh, I know.
motels
And things have changed. I
chiropractors
mean-
and all kinds of things in something that was called a tech park.
I'm
And it
just-
got great tax advantages based on that.
before I can make a decision, I need to know.
Yeah, you need to know that. I mean,
On the Michigan Certified Business Park Association website, which we are listed on.
right.
There is a question that's posed. Why? Why do I want to be in a certified business? And it'll tell you why. I gotta be honest with you, I read it. I didn't really see a huge advantage to,
Okay, I mean, that's,
Well, to some industry, it
maybe I just
might be
didn't
an
understand.
advantage.
Exactly.
To
I don't
others,
know.
it might be,
yeah.
Right,
what do I care?
right.
It is
I'm
on
not sure
there
it'd
if you
be
wanna read
advantage
it.
to the
Okay.
industry as much, Rich, as people looking. Some people would feel more comfortable looking.
Well, depending upon what industry they were in,
Yeah.
yeah. I can see that
If
they would
they
go,
wanna
oh,
buy-
yeah, I mean, I don't want to be next to,
Some of them want to be on a campus.
Well, if it's
Right.
if it's
Yeah,
if it's
depending upon
a
who it is.
software, where it's really offices that you're
Yeah.
building in, I could see where you wouldn't want a tannery next to you, okay?
yeah, you want to have a good neighbor. You wanna
Right, you wanna have a
ec-
like,
Uh-huh.
But this fits the certification a lot closer than your HVAC building there.
but see, that's good, I don't know, but I thought,
There was a manufacturing component. Do they, it's kind of like, do they make things?
Right.
And that, you gotta really stretch on the HVAC and maybe the Pioneer, I guess they make a newspaper.
they do, they
Well, they
make,
do.
they have an
They're
industrial,
manufacturing a paper,
Yeah, and these
so,
guys are gonna manufacture, I don't know, parts for their trucks, I don't know.
no, that's, if they,
that's the other component, I guess I would like an answer.
If they are just,
I
if this is just going to be a service facility and an office for the trucking company,
On the road truck.
does that qualify as industrial?
And would it void our
Certified.
certification?
Yeah, we can't take a
And-
chance on that.
And, well, I don't know, we can't, I don't know.
Why not, Rich? I'm asking you a
I mean,
question.
I don't-
Why
I
would
don't-
you say that?
I don't know if there's rules on that. I mean,
Why can't you take a chance of losing your certification?
well, because then we've got all of this other, that being the certified park, there are some people that would want it to be certified.
Where have they been?
If somebody like Hayworth came in, if
They don't
somebody.
care.
The park isn't the park that we have, they're in,
We
it's
don't
not
know
They're
certified.
not, no, but there
Potential
could
is who's gonna care or not
potentially be,
care.
I'm just saying, we
Yeah.
are a certified
That's just like
park.
a statute
There was,
guard.
obviously, there was a lot of effort that went into getting us to be a certified park. And if we were to lose it because we put a trucking company in there and all of a sudden they said, oh, guess what, you're not a certified park anymore.
I
I would
just
say
don't see
great.
why being a trucking company would
It
not
would-
be.
I don't know that it would.
That's industrial if there's
We can get that
anything.
answer.
Can we give you an assignment to
In
tell
my
us
opinion, which
why?
isn't very
Again,
much.
I mean, why we have it?
More
So
information.
we can weigh, do we want to, and if the trucking firm would void that.
If it doesn't void it, I would keep it just because we've already paid it. I've met with the people on the industrial
Well,
park.
I can't see giving it up,
Yeah.
I'm just worried about losing it. And I don't know how bad
There's
I'm worrying about.
qualifications to be certified.
Yeah,
And I think the fact that
We
we
do
offer
that.
sewer and water are two of the
that's the big
qualifications.
ones.
But I think there's more than that as
Okay,
well.
okay.
And that is appealing, like Rich said, to certain businesses, because they know that those entities or services are there, ready to go. I mean,
I'm not
If they came back and
suggesting,
said you need to be certified, but this time around, they would've said you need to have high-speed internet service available. to maintain your certification, you would have had to look at an $80,000.
Yeah.
Of course, when the.
And we did.
But of
Right,
course,
and they very well could.
When
when this
Maxine
park, when the park was built, there was no high-speed
Yeah.
internet, so
Yeah.
that,
But that would be, you know, they didn't ask that when they're in though, I'm surprised.
Well, Maxine was looking real strong to get that, because she knew that was the last component, and she couldn't put it together economically, I know. So, I mean, it was a concern. So, we're gonna try to get Dan? Who's gonna take care of Dan?
If you guys want to, go ahead. I mean, I'll talk to the buyer yet, but I think we're, you know, if you can come up some this afternoon, fine.
No, we're not ready.
We're not ready.
We're not
No.
ready.
Let's
No.
just tell them that, we're not ready.
My assignment is on the certified park designation and to see if there's any extension potential for the Renaissance, right?
Can,
Okay.
Yeah.
can we, in the
Because this'll-
meeting,
you know, this'll
can we
help us with
authorize you to get a hold of Dan then, Kerwin, and to do an to give us, I don't know what I want to say, a price survey or an evaluation of,
What are
He
you
did
looking
that
for?
already. He gave me comps already. They're right here.
okay, okay.
I mean, this is what he emailed me this morning.
Yeah, but he's giving you comps on available. He's
Not
not giving you
sold.
comps on stuff that's sold.
sold.
Some have changed hands and some have not.
Okay.
I mean, that one, right on the top, is sold 2010, Dave. Isn't it, was it 2010?
And what is that?
I think we should look at an average of what's sold and what the average selling.
This is river frontage,
price.
right? Waterfront, this is about river frontage,
Okay.
right?
It's Northland Drive, 300 foot of road frontage on Northland Drive is what it is. 2 acres. That might butt up to the river. Business 131 property across from the airport. It's right across from the airport.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be on the river then, it'd be river frontage.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Well, it's
Okay.
river frontage, but it's also frontage on
On the road.
131, 300 foot. 2 acres, they have it listed at 149. But there was one in here that's
But sold, I mean, that's what we got.
Maybe I'm on one of those other ones.
Is Hanchets in there as a
I don't know.
comparable? We have an 8 to be on.
Maybe it's still on my desk, Dave. I mean, I just got it this morning, so I just did what I could do.
I know, and I'm glad you got this, I mean, I just,
You know, I don't think we're gonna get 7,500 for it, but I don't think walking away with less than 5 is really reasonable either.
That's fine, I don't feel we have to sell it.
But
Well,
there's gotta be a happy medium.
let's do this. We got another meeting on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
You think I can stall that long?
Hey, I don't
If
care.
you can, you
I mean,
can, if you can't.
we need to have time to make our decision right. A year from now, I want to look back at this and say we made the right
Well, we are
choice.
setting a precedence right now.
We are, you know,
We are.
we can talk our way around it, but the less precedents you set, the better
That's
off
right.
you are.
Yes,
You know.
to an extent, we're setting a precedent depending on what you count.
But,
If
you
it
know,
stays where it is, yeah, we're setting a precedent. If it goes in the total.
too many
we got good money. If
decisions
it goes up,
get
we
made
put-
in haste. So,
And those come back
if
to
we
bite
could
you.
get some way, is Dan, is he qualified to give an opinion on what,
He's an appraiser.
okay,
So
I think,
that's-
He does have an
it's
appraisal license, yes.
can he give us, you know, his opinion on what that property is worth
Well,
as it is?
As an appraiser, I would think he would be able to look for comps
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
and then tell us, okay, here are comps, and here is what my opinion.
That's what I'm looking for, is
is
his
what-
opinion.
On sale?
What it was,
Sales,
We
yeah.
need comps on what's for sale and we need comps on what's.
What's sold,
Sold is.
And then-
That's gonna be two different
and then
ballparks.
compare what
well,
we
okay,
have for sale
then,
to what
then
has
tell us
sold.
what we should be.
And I told you what he said. He said 7,000 would be the bottom.
Well, then we're not that far,
In his opinion.
well, that's fine, that's, his opinion is worth more than ours combined, I mean, it really is. So we're at 7 minimum,
But you gotta remember something about assessors. Assessors don't have to reach into their pocket when they put a value on something. They don't. They like the value. They like it to be high. And that's just the way it is.
personally,
Because that's what they do.
if he
You know, like a
can't, if
But
10,
Dan's gotta have our interest, you know.
He
If I-
does have,
if $10,000 is the difference between making this deal and not, then we're probably gonna lose him someplace else. I mean, he's looking at a $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 investment. If $10,000 getting him hinky now, then I'm wasting my time, in all honesty. You are too.
Yeah, because a 50 by 100 building isn't gonna come
No,
cheap.
I mean, sure, everybody wants it as cheap as they can, and I don't blame him for negotiating, okay? I mean, a light bulb, a 100-watt light bulb on the street's better than this 50. I don't blame him for asking that, but let's get real. If Dan is at 7 minimum, and we were really, that's not that far from, per acre, where we was 5 acres at 35, so,
talking $14,000
now we
more
were
money,
up-
I mean, it's just not that.
But now we were up to 7 acres.
well, but then we
Well,
gotta
that's
have more, we gotta have more money, I mean, per
basically
acre,
that lot.
it's.
Right, and he doesn't need 7 acres.
Well, then we cut him,
It is a
that's
big-
why it's not surveyed, we
Yeah.
cut him we slice him
So we
off.
get 5
what-
acres there.
If
Make
there's,
five, make
if
five a
there's,
little, or 4 a little bigger and 5
if there's,
smaller. You know?
I put him there because I thought that's a good way to get rid of the wetland.
if there's wetlands in the area to square it off, then he buys the wetlands. I mean, we don't,
You don't pay the same price for wetlands, so if Dan's appraising at 7,000, he's appraising wetlands at 7,000, okay?
well, then he can use it for his runoff, for his building, because otherwise he's gotta build a pond anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
He does. So spin it that way, I mean, he's,
And I-
God already built you the
I know I'm
pond.
appraising, I can check the others, but I think Dan's gotta be fair enough to us. He works for us, basically.
Well, I have no reason to believe he won't, he,
But I just don't wanna have another appraiser tell me 6 or 5. Because then are we looking at the wrong appraiser
They're
for,
a lot like economists, they'll tell you
you know.
kind of, it's either here or here, you
Yeah,
know.
somewhere in
Never be
between
very
these 2 points,
specific.
right.
so,
So when's your meeting, is it in the afternoon or evening?
Evening meeting, Tuesdays, it's our regular meeting we're having next Tuesday night, so we can put anything on the agenda we want.
so are we agreeable that we make a decision on Tuesday?
What do you want me to tell him in the meantime? Just see if I can stall him?
Just tell him we're tabling it until we get more information.
Penny, you're,
What if he comes back with an offer to me? Just, if we'll take something, he wants to sell, that's what he's gotta do.
well, I'm sure he does, I did too.
what is the urgency?
But
He's
He's not gonna start breaking ground tomorrow. It's frozen.
He's going back to work, well, he'll break ground. You think break ground?
if,
No.
it is less than
Well,
two,
yeah,
it
but
is
this-
less than 2 weeks since we knew about it, right? Am I right?
A week.
Well,
Yeah, it's basically.
It was last Wednesday.
well then,
26.
if he can't, I'm sorry, if he can't wait till next Tuesday,
Yeah.
Then,
Holidays in
again, that's like the $10,000, if it's,
Okay, I'll just tell him that we're tabling it, we put on hold.
we're not ready to rush
But-
into this decision.
we
I
need,
don't wanna lose that we don't have.
nobody does, okay? But on Tuesday, if we gotta do some prep work so we can make a decision, so give him, are we there now, or are we?
I've done all the prep work I need. If you guys need something else, I think, we need to do it.
7,000 an acre is low for Dan, that's, I mean,
That's
never,
what he's told me. I mean, if you'd like him to put it in writing, I
That's-
can ask him to do that.
and we're looking at,
If he's looking at this lot with wetlands on it,
But was Dan looking at sold parcels, or was he just pulling a number?
I asked him explicitly, you read the paper about the industrial park? He said, yes. I said, what do you think that land is valued at on 18 Mile Road? He said, well, I'll tell you what the city sells, has theirs listed for, they would sell theirs for. He said 10,000, between 7 and 10. And I said, well, what if we were to sell ours below 7? He laughed. I told him, he said, 7 is the bottom line, he said, for 18 Mile Road Industrial Park, in his opinion.
but, with that said, industrial property can go from 10,000 that Dave paid, at the same time, Hayworth got theirs for nothing, okay? I'm
But
not
he was,
complaining,
compared to Dave, brought in how many more
I understand
employees?
that. So that's what I'm saying, so you
This is
can't
okay.
go buy, the bottom line is 7,000 to see you
No.
wouldn't offer. No, they'd cut a deal any day they
Because
could.
that's a
Because
flexible number.
they weigh other things,
this
is what I'm
what we'd
saying.
be doing different too.
According to the internet, his annual income is $95,000 with one employee. I know he's telling you 9. And I know one employee that works for him.
Well, I definitely would want to see some
What he's doing for,
guarantees on employment, not wish lists, is, because otherwise, we have no incentive, no real, I shouldn't say we don't have any incentive. It cuts down our incentives.
that's advantage for us to sell it.
And from the
We
aesthetic
want
standpoint,
jobs, I mean,
are
that's
there
what,
requirements that he would have to have a paved lot, that he has to do landscaping, like what the Pioneer has?
that's all in that,
That's in your covenant.
yeah, that's in the covenants.
It doesn't
Okay.
say paid. It
Well,
was-
I don't remember, I know there was some,
Yeah, he has to have paid for the parking for his employees. And he has to have lighted parking lot.
And I think there is some landscape requirements.
so.
There's landscape, yeah. There's some landscape.
Okay.
So are we, am I hearing that you're at 7 minimum net?
I'm just hearing what she's hearing.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've been told.
Okay,
I personally feel that there's something just a little bit icky in my gut when I gotta have it right now.
I know, I don't like it either.
I'm sorry, give us time to think about
Right,
it. Do some
right. So what, do we want to just think about it, or is there some more research we need to?
Well, we've definitely got research that needs to be
We
done
can
yet.
do comparables as to what has actually sold vacant land with utilities on it.
Yeah, because
We'll
that's
do
a
our
big thing.
best
It doesn't
in the
have
whole state
utilities.
of
That's-
Michigan, I guess, because I don't know that there's been maybe 5 parcels
Can
in
you
our
two-
area
can you
in the
two do
last
that?
5 years.
Will you do that? I know you can. Will you do that?
Yeah.
As much as I can. That's what I did all of this, was
Okay,
looking
that's
at
good.
what.
Did you have a copy of this, Rich?
Because then maybe on,
Restrictions on the deed?
and maybe give it to us, is it possible maybe on Monday to give it to us? So we got time to look
I've
at
given
it,
him a copy of that, and this is
so that we can make a decision on
I'm
Tuesday?
saying somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000, there's gotta be a happy medium.
Kenny, I'm not so sure 7's not it, okay? I'm not,
I'm not either,
You know,
I don't,
and
I don't
we're,
really.
but I want a customer in there so bad that,
well,
Yeah, but you have to do your due diligence.
You do.
Yeah.
We're responsible to
responsible.
the people, the township here.
I think we need to do the comps if we can. I don't think we're too far off. If we just had something that could give us a little, that we could stand on and said, this is,
I don't think we're very far off.
I don't either.
Just give us a little bit of assurance that we're
that
not.
we're not just pulling numbers out, that we're not giving it away.
That's
That's all.
exactly where
That's
I'm
where
at.
I'm at anyway.
That's where I'm at.
And I base mine basically on the figures that you guys
And,
Right.
you know, if,
10 years ago.
but it's, the tap-in fees gotta stand by themselves. That sets too big a
Yeah,
precedent
me too,
down
because
the
then the
line.
next guy that comes in,
'Cause the whole-
then every,
I'd say $7,000 an acre minimum, and it's to us.
It's net,
He's-
that's net, whatever.
He's on top of the
Yeah.
rest of it himself.
But we need to,
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
we need to have a piece of paper, either,
well, and this is still an.
or some other ones that we can go back on.
This is still a negotiation, so
Yeah, I mean,
we,
Is it just because he's been off and wants to go back to work? Is that?
that's the big
the
thing. He wants to
gap?
have stuff settled this week. He's been to the banks, he's got,
I mean, in the old days, you have to go, you could do all this, and then you'd have to go have dinner with the boys that really made the decision.
Yeah, and I say one thing also is, it's very important, is in the Costa County Development Corporation, everything's done in confidentiality. This is called Project A, or 2013A, okay? I don't put any names on anything, don't disclose any information to reporters, although Jonathan will call and ask. We never use names, we never use prices, we never use any details, because we can't do this in the press, okay? So if there's any notion, and I heard there's the notion that I'm out yakking, I aren't, as a professional and personal duty to my job, this isn't, no information related to this topic comes from my office or from me.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's
the information
until,
did leak out on this.
and there was information leaked out on it, did not come from my office or me. We handle these things as quiet and confidential until somebody does something publicly, like it's a closed session, so nothing discussed in here goes outside this door.
can't go out of here.
This is Vegas.
No, that's illegal.
But-
That's right. It's-
It's
But-
legal, we have to.
Right.
If you have a public hearing where people are trying, and you're talking about this public, that's gonna end up in the paper. We don't disclose anything until the client or the prospect, gives us permission to. And I've got one other deal right now, trying to put, it's like trying to put the genie back in the lamp. Well, the word got out that there was a prospect and it got in the paper. Well, that prospect is very upset, thinking about
Well,
withdrawing.
we had a deal in the past that was like that.
So,
This
The word
got
got
out
out.
before I was talking to them, and Mickey came in here, and she had more information than we
she
had.
came into my office with all of the
She had all
information,
the
even knew who the guy was, because
It
she
leaked
had
out.
dealings with him before.
It leaked out, she knew everything.
So I had,
We've
So,
got to be careful
so
about
it's
that.
either come from this board, from his
Or-
office, or from the banks.
Or because she had dealings with him before.
well, she knew, when she came into my office, she knew the site that he was looking at, the company that he was, and thought she knew who he was, because she had some dealings with him before. So, that came from her, not from me, so. And I just, like I said, we just, everything's
We did this
on the QT until you guys say,
confusion,
Yeah,
talk about it. And
You
that's
went
not my
18?
place.
18, because these prices, you're not gonna sell that. Every,
So you
I
took
just
20% off right
Yeah.
to begin with?
Yeah, I started
Before you
eating-
even
yeah.
did this?
and then I took off the tax savings, which I would have saved, and that was only on a $500,000 building. It's gonna be, you know, I figured it cheap. I wanted to keep it low, I wanted to make sure that, you know, we weren't,
The other thing that would help us is if we have, have they told you any idea what kind of building they're putting up, dollar-wise?
he hasn't told me dollar-wise. He told me it's gonna be a 50 by 100 with a 2,000 to 2,500 square foot
Well,
office.
Dan ought to be able to tell us what that,
No, will the office be on the side or inside the building? I don't know.
I was,
No, it'd be outside.
well, square footage is the building though, the building permit. I was on a sidebar to see what money we would be getting from the building department, because that's another thing
That's
that
what I
will,
had to have
that
to
will
figure
come
the
here.
tap-in fees.
So we can all, you know, so we can say, hey, is this
And
worth,
just for your information on the tap-in fees, it is not a scientific method.
it is an art form, I'm sure it is,
It's art more than scientific.
yeah.
But I've worked with
Well,
May
it
quite
just
a bit on
doesn't
it.
fall into the
and-
right categories anymore.
Yeah, we've got different categories. And what we use is, auto dealer is a .4 multiplier, a warehouse is .1, and I use .25 to get their fees. Because I fell between the two of those. That's for that part of the building. The offices are on .4, and that's the multiplier we use for that. We've got office building. And
Okay.
that's how I come up with the tap-in fee for the sewer. The water tap-in fee I came up with by just looking at what we charged the only two others we had, and kind of estimating between and looking at what the city does. And, so
Well, maybe that's something for Bruce to work on, is an actual.
I asked them, they said Bruce has never done any of this before.
But he can do it.
Yeah, he can do
Well,
it, yeah.
I mean, he's a lot better than us, he's farther ahead than us, so.
May is,
Well, okay, as long as we got a formula, it would be nice to have the methodology instead of, so
The
you can
water's the
say,
one we didn't have anything on.
this is the way it is,
We made-
Here's the number.
instead of, oh, I don't know. I'm feeling good today, you're gonna get a deal.
Yeah, right. No,
But that's how I got the tap-in fees.
actual number.
I had a headache, it's not a
And I
good
figured
day.
that's what we can do. You know, we'll tell him the same, either way, what he wants to do, you know. It's gotta be shown separate anyway.
Next Wednesday, I think you could have a decision,
Okay.
after the meeting. Is that fair?
I'll tell him that next Wednesday we'll come up.
Tell me you haven't done your due diligence, you still haven't
Yep.
complete that.
Yep.
Tell me you're a rookie, we're all rookies, we gotta reinvent the wheel, and I mean, that's the honest answer.
It
I mean,
is the
I mean, that
honest
is the
answer.
honest answer. And if he can't wait,
Not
And I
one
wish
of
him luck.
us here at the
You know,
table
I
has
do. I
ever
wish him luck.
done this before.
right, I wish him
well,
luck.
we had a committee, you know, out there, in
Yeah.
the industrial park, and we dismantled that because of inactivity. So now we're forced to do it, to look at today's prices, today's market. It probably should be done anyway.
It should.
Yeah,
We should do it right if we're
after
gonna do
this,
it.
we need to come up with something so we've got.
We-
We need a procedure, so I mean, whatever time it is,
Current literature.
when
updated
somebody calls
figures.
Jim, he's gonna say, hey,
Yeah.
it's gonna take you a X number of days from the time you make your first offer for the
Here
board to
is-
make up
and
their mind.
here is the
Now, if you can't live with that, you need to move on right now.
Right.
And the
Okay?
other
I
thing
mean,
is, once he gets the
And I do
property,
get calls like that from time to time.
you do, but if you got an
have your
answer,
Locations, you have, what are the, you know, they're basically looking for cost of land, cost of labor, cost of energy, cost of government, so, you know.
he's got to have his zoning plan into us, we've got to approve that, we've got to approve his building plans yet, so I mean, he's got time, so he's got to get his
a
property.
bank takes time too. Nobody likes it, but they realize that's what it is, and you only move them so fast. I mean, that's,
Oh, that can take months.
that's right. I mean, does he like it? Can he sputter? Absolutely. He wouldn't be the high driver that he is if he didn't want stuff to happen.
The banks-
Right, but-
pushing it back.
But you can only push you so
He
far.
pushed the banks real quick. He really was pushing the banks.
Well, I push the banks too, but they only move so fast. They got their own drummer.
They are molasses in
Yeah.
January.
Well, he had his information
That's
until
fast.
Yeah.
less than a week ago, and he had a meeting with him yesterday. One of them, I don't know which one. Wasn't
Having
one
the
I was
initial
texting.
meeting is one
One
thing,
thing.
getting the answer is something
Yeah.
else. I mean,
Yeah, I could have an initial meeting with my bank.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? No, okay. So,
No, it wouldn't be no, it would be, we'll look into it.
Yes, we'll get back with it.
That's the way I have always heard it.
Yeah,
Or at least that's my personal experience with it,
Right.
is we'll get
So
back to
we'll-
you. And you don't sit by the phone holding your breath.
Because I really, I'd like to see us move some property there, but I don't really care. So,
I think,
That's what
If we wanna have it as a-
we
something-
all
yeah.
would
They're
like
sitting there.
to, as long as it's fair for both parties.
But I gotta be able to look a constituent in the eye.
Yes.
And that we got the fair
Fair value.
price. You know,
Well, especially when we had the guy that's got the acre right next to the HVAC building that bought and paid 15,000 for his. He hasn't built on it, but he paid 15,000 for his acre. And, I mean, that was then, this
I
is
know.
now.
Was that before 2008?
7, yeah.
Yeah.
That was then, so this isn't, but you also gotta look at him and go, gosh, I'm sorry that you bought when you did.
Well, if you buy 5 acres or 1 acre,
it's huge.
Yeah,
that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know, it's
that
being
comes
sorry
into.
for
But we need a
That's
reason.
risk.
We need a
Oh, he took-
reason to do
yeah,
something.
he
We
took
don't
the
just say,
risk.
well, you know,
sometimes the way-
we like the guy's last name better than yours, that's why we, you know, you can't have that. I mean, you gotta have a legitimate reason to set the
When
price.
are those dated? Are those dated 2007?
Oh, I don't, do I want these?
Those are green bills. It's just the top one.
I can't see without my glasses.
Yeah, these are 11/7. Okay.
You wanna take those back, then?
And I'm,
'Cause I
Yeah,
don't-
you shouldn't have your guy look at any comps before 2009 or 10.
Oh, they've gotta be, yeah, they've
Yeah,
gotta be, I would say 2
think
years.
two location, like anything closer to Grand Rapids would make more money.
sure, it's gonna be worth more down there.
Yeah. You know, the
I
further
mean,
south you go,
Leroy would be the other industrial park that I would think would be harder to get rid of, and that would be the other extreme, you know.
They've gotta be cheaper than us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I've heard Everett's a lot cheaper than us. But depends who you are too,
Oh.
I'm sure.
There's always a difference between the, you know, the list price and what you buy it for.
Well, right here, Windemuller's paid $60,000 in July of 2006 for 3.1 acres.
Yep,
So they paid 20.
yep.
A year later, almost exactly a year later, July 10th, 2007, however you pronounce his name,
Yep.
paid 15,000 for 1 acre.
Zappa.
But
Yeah,
that's,
there you go. So
But
now
no,
we've
they-
got to advance 6 years and realize that it's not worth that, but,
He wasn't a good land speculator, was he?
no, he wasn't, but that's
Well,
like,
nobody could
that's like,
foresee.
that's going to the casino. That-
I know,
If
it is.
that crystal ball worked, we'd all be billionaires and we wouldn't be sitting here.
I mean, the land I bought, I'm not so sure that I'll get my money back out of it.
No, but
I really-
that's the chance you
Yeah,
take.
and Bill's not another one. I mean, it's,
I
As
have a
a
policy.
as a homeowner, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
So,
I
So-
just sold mine for $750,000 10 years ago, and I turned it down.
Yeah. You held your cards.
I thought I would get up to $1 million with it. And I was
oops,
gonna use that to retire, and now I've got listed at 200,000.
they
Can't
can't,
sell it.
they can't sell it.
Right.
I mean, it's a listed
Well, I've got a
price.
friend in Grand Rapids, same thing. He was sitting out in Byron Center on a 15 acres of property that he was offered $1 million for prior to the crash, and now he can't give it away. Then it's,
So, I mean,
Beautiful
that's
house.
where we're at,
Yeah,
it's,
we're not the,
you know,
but
you see that.
Dan's the key, I think.
so when did
Yeah,
we
we
come out
need-
here with a motion to look?
we're just gonna motion to table it.
Table, okay.
And then,
Come back
and then you two will do some chicken
We'll
joy.
work on it.
can we get a second that?
To do what? To take,
We had to.
We gotta do that out there. We've gotta make a motion to,
table it.
no,
Table. We gotta
first we've gotta
make a
make
motion first, come out of closed
Okay,
session,
closed session.
and then we gotta have a motion to table.
Okay. We decided not to do something.
There you go.